The Stoics were one of three schools of philosophy in ancient Greece. They taught that virtue is the only true good, that external things such as health, wealth, and pleasure do not matter, and that the path to a good life is to live according to nature. In this video, we go over 20 signs that you are a Stoic. First, you don't smile often. When I was younger, my parents would often say that if I didn't smile, people would think I was mad. Of course, as a child this made me smile even more as it seemed like a challenge. So much so, that by the time I reached adulthood and began working, I had become quite good at not smiling. It wasn't until recently that I realized how unusual it was for me. Most people laugh or show some form of emotion, whether it's happiness, sadness, or anger. In fact, one could even say that Stoicism is frowned upon in today's society. But is it really such a bad thing? There are many who argue that Stoicism is nothing more than an outdated way of thinking that doesn't take into account the ever-changing world we live in. They say that by refusing to open up and let go of our emotions, we are putting ourselves at a disadvantage. After all, what good is it to be strong if we can't rely on our feelings when something difficult comes along? Second, you don't easily cry. I've always been a bit of a Stoic. As a child, I often found myself not crying when things upset me, and even as an adult, I've found it difficult to cry in public. I think part of the reason for this is that I don't easily feel emotions. When something hurts me or makes me sad, I generally keep my feelings inside and try to deal with them in private. This can be difficult at times because it can make it hard to process what's happening emotionally. But overall, I feel like it has helped me maintain some sense of balance in my life and kept me from getting too attached to negative emotions. Third, you're usually not very expressive. There are a few things that usually point to someone being a Stoic. Usually people who are Stoics are not very expressive. They may not show much emotion, or they may be very calm and collected in the face of adversity. They may also be very patient and reluctant to admit when they're upset or afraid. Interestingly, Stoicism was originally developed as a way for people to deal with difficult situations. It was designed as a way to be unaffected by the negative emotions that come with stress and pain. For some people, this approach can be helpful in the short term. However, over time it can become difficult to live life in such an emotionally cold way. For some people, Stoicism may be the best approach possible when it comes to managing emotions and stress. Others may find that they need to be more expressive in order to cope with difficult situations. Fourth, you're usually not very talkative. I usually don't like to talk too much. I prefer to listen and observe. I think it's important to be observant and learn from your mistakes so you can grow as a person. Plus, if you're not talking, then you're not likely to upset anyone or make them mad, which is always a good thing. Fifth, you rarely laugh out loud. Some people might say that if someone is a Stoic, they rarely laugh out loud. To be a Stoic, one must be able to control their emotions and reactions, even in the face of adversity. For someone who is constantly trying to maintain composure and not let their emotions get the best of them, it can be difficult to let loose and have some fun. In general, Stoics are usually very calm and collected individuals who don't show their emotions easily. Sixth, you're usually not very touchy-feely. There are a few things that usually indicate someone is a Stoic. They might not be very touchy-feely, and they usually don't show a lot of emotions. They might also be more independent than other people, and they might not care about what other people think of them. Seventh, you usually don't enjoy being around people. I usually find it difficult to enjoy being around people. I often find myself trying to stay in my own space or withdrawing altogether. I think this is because for me, social interaction is a lot of work. It's always been a challenge for me to be around others and get invested in their lives, which is why I'm usually pretty reserved. Eighth, you don't think much of yourself and your abilities. I don't think much of myself and my abilities because I am a Stoic. Stoicism is the philosophy that states that one should remain calm and rational in the face of adversity. In other words, I don't let things get to me emotionally or psychologically. Instead, I focus on doing what is best for me and remain positive even in tough situations. This allows me to be successful in whatever I do, whether it's schoolwork, sports, or relationships. Ninth, you seldom get emotionally attached to things or people in your life. If you are a Stoic, then you seldom get emotionally attached to things or people in your life. You may not be as expressive as others, and you may not necessarily feel the same way when something impacts your life. However, because you do not attach yourself to things or people, you are able to maintain more control and perspective in moments of distress. This allows you to stay calm and make better decisions when faced with difficult challenges. 10th, when something bad happens, you don't tend to react emotionally very strongly or for a long period of time. Stoicism is a philosophy that encourages people to live in harmony with the world and not let their emotions get in the way. According to Stoicism, when something bad happens, you shouldn't react emotionally very strongly or for a long period of time. Instead, you should try to understand the situation and figure out what you can do to make the best of it. This way, you can stay calm and focused in difficult situations. 11th, you usually don't get angry very easily. I usually don't get angry very easily. I've learned that it's not worth the energy, and that it often doesn't accomplish anything. I usually try to stay calm and rational, rather than letting my emotions get the best of me. 12th, you're not usually drawn to the dramatic in your life. There are many different types of people in the world, some who are very outgoing and enjoy the company of others, while others prefer to stay in the background and avoid attention. I'm not usually drawn to the dramatic in my life, and I prefer to live quietly and peacefully. I believe that if something is important to you, then you should pursue it with all your heart, no matter how difficult it may be. If something doesn't matter to you, then you shouldn't bother trying to pursue it because there is no point. This is why I believe that being a Stoic is important. It allows you to focus on things that truly matter in life. 13th, you usually don't care about what other people think of you. I usually don't care about what other people think of me. I have learned that it is best to not invest my energy in things that cannot affect me positively. This has given me a lot of peace and happiness in life. It has also allowed me to be more confident and stay true to myself. 14th, you're not easily influenced by others and you usually make your own decisions without being swayed by others. I usually make my own decisions without being swayed by others. I don't easily get pulled into the emotions of others and I don't often react to things based on what other people say or do. This makes me immune to the emotional roller coaster that most people go through on a daily basis. 15th, when something doesn't feel right, you'll often try to figure out why on your own before looking for guidance from others or accepting what feels like the norm. When something doesn't feel right, you'll often try to figure out why on your own before looking for guidance from others or accepting what feels like the norm. For example, you might sit in silence during a meeting because you don't feel comfortable speaking up. Or, you might refuse to go out with your friends because you don't want to participate in their activities. These behaviors are often signs that you're a Stoic. 16th, you're not one to take things at face value and instead question everything that's presented to you, even if it might seem logical or common sense at first glance. For someone who identifies as a Stoic, it means that they approach life with a sense of detachment and rationality. They don't take things at face value, instead questioning everything that's presented to them. This can often lead to a more objective perspective on the world and can help them to be more resilient in difficult situations. It's also important for Stoics to maintain mindfulness, which means being present in the moment and aware of their surroundings. By doing this, they can foster a sense of calm and peace in their lives. 17th, you have a deep-seated belief that there is more to life than what we see and experience on a daily basis. I believe that there is so much more to life than what we see and experience on a daily basis. To me, Stoicism is the philosophy that teaches us how to live in the moment and appreciate what we have. It is a deep-seated belief that there is more to life than what we see and experience on a daily basis. It is about learning to be content with the little things in life, even when they don't seem like much. I think this philosophy has helped me to be more patient and accepting of difficult situations. 18th, you're not usually caught up in the here and now, and instead focus more on your long-term goals and aspirations. Stoicism is a philosophical school of thought that emphasizes the importance of self-control and focus. People who practice Stoicism often have a strong sense of self-awareness and understand that the here and now is not as important as their long-term goals and aspirations. They are usually not caught up in the emotions of the moment, preferring to think about what is best for them in the long run. 19th, you have a strong sense of self-awareness and you're very aware of your own thoughts, feelings, and emotions. I think that being a Stoic is about having a strong sense of self-awareness and being very aware of your own thoughts, feelings, and emotions. For me, this means that I am always aware of what's going on inside my head and body. I don't allow things to get me down, and I don't let my emotions control me. I am comfortable with who I am and what I stand for, no matter what the situation may be. 20th, you're not easily swayed by others and you usually make your own decisions without being swayed by others. I usually make my own decisions without being swayed by others. I'm not easily swayed by others, and I usually don't allow others to control me. I oftentimes am able to remain calm under pressure, and don't let things get the best of me. I know how to keep a cool head in difficult situations, and am not easily